In 500 feet, turn right onto the unpaved road.
It started as a routine drive. On the morning of August 14th, 2019, a logistics driver named Mark Ellison was transporting medical equipment through rural Nevada. The route was familiar. He had driven it dozens of times before, always following the same highway that cut through miles of empty desert. At 9:17 a.m., his GPS recalculated. The screen refreshed and displayed a new destination marker, less than 2 miles ahead, just off the road. The label was strange. It didn't show a town name, a business, or even coordinates. It showed a single word: destination. Mark assumed it was a glitch. GPS systems reroute all the time, especially in areas with weak signal. He ignored it and continued driving. 30 seconds later, the navigation voice spoke again. In 800 meters, turn right. There was no road to turn onto. Mark slowed down. On both sides of the highway, the desert stretched flat and empty. No dirt paths, no service roads, nothing that could reasonably be classified as a turn. But the GPS map clearly showed one. A thin gray line extended off the highway, leading toward the destination marker. The satellite view loaded normally. No distortion, no signal warning. The path looked intentional, as if it had always been there. Against his better judgment, Mark pulled over. He stepped out of the truck and looked around. The heat was intense, the air completely still. There was no visible road, only sand, rocks, and scrub. But when he looked back at the screen, the path was still there. The destination marker pulsed faintly. He took out his phone and opened a different navigation app. Nothing. No road. No marker. No destination. Only the truck's built-in GPS showed it. Curious, Mark drove forward slowly, keeping the truck aligned with the invisible route displayed on the screen. As he moved, the GPS arrow stayed perfectly centered on the gray line, as if the road existed exactly where the system claimed it did. After less than a minute, the GPS announced, "You have arrived." Mark stopped the truck. According to the screen, he was standing directly on the destination. According to reality, he was in the middle of open desert. No structures, no markings, no sign of human activity. The strangest part came when he zoomed out. The destination did not exist anywhere else on the map. There were no nearby towns, no connected roads, no labels. Just a single point floating in empty space, disconnected from everything. Mark contacted his dispatcher and explained the situation. At first, they assumed a software error. They asked him to reboot the system. He did. The GPS restarted. The destination was still there. This time, something changed. A coordinate string appeared beneath the marker, latitude and longitude values that should have pointed to a real location. Mark copied them and sent them to the dispatch office. When the coordinates were entered into other mapping systems, they returned nothing. No land features, no historical sites, no restricted zones, not even blank terrain. It was as if the coordinates didn't belong to Earth. Later that day, Mark filed a formal report with the vehicle manufacturer. The truck was taken in for diagnostics. Engineers checked the GPS module, firmware, and satellite logs. Everything appeared normal. But when they reviewed the system's internal data, they found something unexpected. The destination had not been manually entered. It had not been pulled from traffic data. It had not been transmitted from the dispatch system. The GPS had generated it internally. Even more unsettling, the timestamp associated with the destination creation did not match the truck's clock. According to the logs, the destination had been created 4 minutes before the vehicle reached that section of highway. The system had plotted a place before the driver arrived near it. The engineers dismissed it as a rare synchronization fault and cleared the truck for service. Mark wasn't convinced. Weeks later, curiosity got the better of him. On his own time, he returned to the same stretch of highway with a handheld GPS unit and his phone. The destination did not appear. But when he parked in the same spot and turned on the truck's navigation system again, the marker slowly faded back into view, exactly where it had been before. This time, Mark noticed something new. The GPS altitude reading began to fluctuate, not by meters, but by tens of meters up and down, as if the system couldn't decide whether the destination was above ground or below it. Then, without warning, the marker vanished. The screen returned to normal. No destination, no path, no error message. Mark never saw it again. The manufacturer later confirmed that 3 similar incidents had been reported over a 2-year period. Different vehicles, different regions, the same pattern. A GPS-generated destination, no physical location, no external input. All incidents were quietly classified as non-reproducible anomalies. But some engineers believed the systems weren't malfunctioning. They were navigating something that wasn't meant to be navigated, a place that existed briefly, only in the map,